So we're in URANTIA book, paper 10, number 5.1, the function of the Trinity. Who dares?
Yeah, okay. 5. Functions of the Trinity. Personal deities have attributes, but it is hardly consistent to speak of the Trinity as having attributes.
Mm-hmm.
This association of divine beings may more properly be regarded as having functions, such as justice, administration, totality attitudes, coordinate action, and cosmic overcontrol.
Hmm.
These functions are actively supreme, ultimate, and within the limits of deity, absolute as far as all living realities of personality value are concerned. The functions of the Paradise Trinity are not simply the sum of the Father's apparent endowment of divinity plus those specialized attributes that are unique in the personal existence of the Son and the Spirit. The Trinity association of the three Paradise deities results in the evolution, eventuation, and deitization of new beginnings. New meanings. Got it before you pick me up.
Yeah.
New
Yeah, you have to be
meaning.
quick.
You guys,
That was really fast.
New meanings, values, powers, and capacities for universal revelation, action, and administration. Living associations, human families, social groups, or the Paradise Trinity are not augmented by mere arithmetical, get it out in a minute, arithmetical, or whatever, summation. The group potential is always far in excess of the simple sum of the attributes of the component individuals.
mm,
Mm.
The Trinity maintains a unique attitude as a Trinity towards the entire universe of the past, present, and future. And the functions of the Trinity can best be considered in relation to the universe attitudes of the Trinity. Such attitudes are simultaneous and may be multiple concerning any isolated situation or event. 1. Oops, I lost my spot. Hang on. 1. Attitude toward the finite.
Oh, is there? Thank you, Mr. Powell.
What to do?
no, did he?
No.
The Trinity maintains a unique. Did you read that bit?
I think so.
Oh, sorry, must be me.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
you did. Sorry, yes. Yeah.
yeah. Attitude, number 1, attitude toward the finite. The maximum self-limitation of the Trinity is its attitude toward the finite. The Trinity is not a person, nor is the Supreme Being an exclusive personalization of the Trinity. But the Supreme is the nearest approach to a power personality focalization of the Trinity, which can be comprehended by finite creatures. Hence, the Trinity in relation to the finite is sometimes spoken of as the Trinity of Supremacy. 2. Attitude toward the absolute. The Paradise Trinity has regard for those levels of existence which are more than finite but less than absolute. And this relationship is sometimes denominated the Trinity of Ultimacy. Neither the ultimate nor the supreme are wholly representative of the Paradise Trinity, but in a qualified sense and to their respective levels, each seems to represent the Trinity during the pre-personal eras of experiential power development.
Well,
That's
of
enough for
course.
me. That's enough for me. Who wants to take me?
Hmm.
Oh, I'm nearly finished. I'll keep going. So, 3. The absolute attitude of the Paradise Trinity is in relation to absolute existences and culminates in the action of total deity.
Mhm.
The Trinity infinite involves the coordinate action of all Trinity relationships.
Tri-unity,
What did I say? What did I say?
Trinity-ish, something. Sorry.
Triunity. Yep, all triunity relationships of the first source and center, undefined as well
And
as
deified.
what's that?
And deified.
I should have stopped, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Undeified as well as deified, and hence is very difficult for personalities to grasp. In the contemplation of the Trinity as infinite, do not ignore the 7 triunities. Thereby, certain difficulties of understanding may be avoided, and certain paradoxes may be partially resolved. But I do not command language which would enable me to convey to the limited human mind the full truth and the eternal significance of the Paradise Trinity and the nature of the never-ending interassociation of the 3 beings of infinite perfection.
Mm.
Hmm.
Well,
Mm. 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 Beautiful. You guys, are we ready to move on? I would like to continue contemplating this delicious experience.
Mhm.
Mm. I love when it takes us like that, hey?
I'll, I'll do some reading. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The stationary sons of the Trinity. 6. All law takes origin in the first source and center. He is law. The administration of spiritual laws inheres to the second source and center. The revelation of law and the promulgation and interpretation.
Oh.
I just-
Can I get you to start again, please, Anthony, and just slow it down a bit? Just start again from the beginning.
I thought I was going really slow.
No,
But yes, I can go slow.
Not slow
Okay.
enough.
The stationary sons of the Trinity.
Mm.
All law takes origin in the first source and center. He is law. The administration of spiritual law inheres in the second source and center. The revelation of law, the
Promulgation.
how do you say it?
Promulgation.
Promulgation. Promulgation.
Yeah.
And interpretation of the divine statutes. I can't read. Statute. What is that word? Statute.
You're doing it.
Statutes.
Yeah.
Statute is like an aspect of law.
Yeah.
So also promulgate means promote and make widely known.
Ah. The revelation of law and the promulgation of and interpretation of the divine statutes is the function of the third source and center. The application of law, justice, falls within the province of the Paradise Trinity and is carried out by certain sons of the Trinity. Justice is inherent in the universal sovereignty of the Paradise Trinity. But goodness, mercy, and truth are the universe ministry of the divine personalities, whose deity union constitutes the Trinity. Justice is not the attitude of the Father, the Son, or the Spirit. Justice is the Trinity attitude of these personalities of love, mercy, and ministry. No one of the paradise deities fosters the administration of justice. Justice is never a personal attitude. It is always a plural function.
Mm. Wow.
Hmm. Where's my words? Evidence, the basis of fairness, justice in harmony with mercy, is supplied by the personalities of the third source and center, the conjoint representative of the Father and the Son to all realms and to all minds, and to the minds of the intelligent beings of all creation.
Mhm.
Judgment, the final application of justice in accordance with the evidence submitted by the personalities of the infinite Spirit is the work of the stationary sons of the Trinity, beings partaking of the Trinity nature of the united Father, Son, and Spirit. I think I'll get someone else to read.
This group of Trinity sons embraces the following personalities: Trinitized secrets of supremacy, eternals of days, ancients of
Can
days.
we stop for a moment? Sorry, Cole.
Yeah, so sure.
Well, I don't understand what the Trinity sons. Where do they come in? Where do they come from? Stationary sons of the Trinity, beings partaking of the Trinity nature of the unified Father, Son, and Spirit. Really, does anyone know what, like, how does that work?
We're just learning this
So that,
material. I don't think
yeah,
I have an answer. But for me, it's so
okay, yeah, all right,
experiential. Like just like that, we had that moment where it just takes you into this exquisite silence, doesn't it? Because sometimes I watch people, they know so much about what's what, and yet there's no experience there. You can feel it. It's just like all kind of mental order of things,
yeah.
you know?
At the same time, though, at the
It's
same time,
helpful.
there are questions that come up, and it could be nice to be able to
Yeah, I know.
have a picture of it. It's almost like a
Mhm.
family tree or something, you know?
Yeah.
There are classes that you can join where they all know all this. They just can fit it. They have it got all organized in their minds where it all fits and how it fits. And you ask a question and they will give you an answer that will just simply overwhelm you just like this.
Yeah, right. I mean, just the thought of that was like, oh dear God, no. Yeah, okay. All right.
Uh,
Sorry to interrupt you.
oh no, I don't have an answer. I mean, this is as new to me as it is to you. Um, some things will work clearer as we go along. And yeah, I think until there is a complete dedication to this, you know, just all these,
Mm,
even this is that I'm reading right now, they're all
Mm.
so many different associations that will be clarified and expanded on endlessly.
yeah. This is probably only the first volume. There's going to be others. Oh, dear.
So the number one, Trinity secrets of supremacy. So, okay, this group of Trinity sons embraces the following personalities: Trinity's secrets of supremacy, eternal of days, ancient of days, perfections of days, reasons of days, unions of days, faithfuls of days, perfecters of wisdom, divine counselors, and universal censors. We are the children of the three paradise deities functioning as the Trinity. For I chance to belong to the 10th order of this group, so this must be the universal counselor. The
Censor.
yeah, for I chance to belong to the 10th order of this group, the universal censors. Three orders, and
These.
these orders are not representative of the attitude of the Trinity in a universal sense. These represents this collective attitude of deity only in the domains of executive, judgment, justice. They were specifically designed by the Trinity for the precise work to which they are assigned, and they represent the Trinity only in those functions for which they were personalized.
Mm.
Wow.
Mm. Mm. The Ancients of Days and the Trinity Origin Associates. What's that word?
Meet. It's like measure out. Like, yeah.
Uh-huh. Meet out, meet out the just judgment of supreme fairness to the seven super universes. See, we're still talking about this, source and center of all there is. And we are so far in this periphery, of that center. So a lot happens in between. Um, in the central universe, such functions exist in theory only. Their fairness is self-evident in perfection, and Havana perfection precludes all possibility of disharmony. Justice is the collective thought of righteousness. Mercy is its personal expression. Wow. Whew. Mercy is the attitude of love. Precision characterizes the operation of law. Divine justice is the
Judgment.
divine judgment is the soul of fairness, ever conforming to the justice of the Trinity, ever fulfilling the divine love of God. When fully perceived, what? When fully perceived and completely understood, the righteous justice of the Trinity and the merciful love of the Universal Father are coincident. But man has no such full understanding of divine justice. Thus, in the Trinity, as man would view it, the personalities of Father, Son, and the Spirit are adjusted to coordinate ministry of love, a law in the experiential universes of time. The first, the overcontrol of supremacy, number 7. The first, second, and third persons of deity are equal to each other, and they are one. The Lord our God is one God. It's probably from the Bible. There is perfection of purpose and oneness of execution of the divine trinity of eternal deities. The Father, the Son, and the conjoined actor are truly and divinely one. I mean, it's true, having had these experiences where the whole perception of the mind just vanishes, where you do find yourself in this state of pure love. you know, and it's just putting any words into that. It's just like screeching, you know, nails on the window. No matter how well ordered those words are. The Father, the Son, and the Conjecture are truly and divinely one. Of a truth, it is written, I'm the first, and I'm the last, and besides me, there is no God. As things appear to the mortal on a finite level, the Paradise Trinity, like the Supreme Being, is concerned only with the total planet, total universe, total super universe, total grand universe. This totality attitude exists because the Trinity is the total of deity and for many other reasons. The Supreme Being is something less and something other than a Trinity functioning in a finite universes. But within the certain limits and during the present era of incomplete power personalization, this evolutionary deity does appear to reflect the attitudes of Trinity of supremacy. Father, Son, and the Spirit do not personally function within the Supreme Being, but during the
Excuse
present,
me. That's right.
but during the present universe age, they collaborate with Him as the Trinity. We understand that they sustain a similar relationship to the ultimate. We often conjecture as to what will be the personal relationship between Paradise Deity and God the Supreme when he finally, no, when he has finally evolved. But we do not really know. We do not find the over-control of supremacy to be wholly predictable. Furthermore, this unpredictability appears to be characterized by a certain development of incompleteness, undoubtedly an earmark of the incompleteness of the Supreme and the incompleteness of finite reactions to the Trinity, to the Paradise Trinity. The mortal mind can immediately think of 1,001 things: catastrophic physical events, appalling accidents, horrific disasters, painful illnesses, and worldwide scourges,
Scourges.
and ask whether such visitations are correct in the unknown correlated in the unknown maneuvering of the probable functioning of the Supreme Being. Frankly, we don't know. We're not really sure. But we do observe that as time passes, all these difficult and more or less mysterious situations always work out for the welfare and progress of the universe. Amazing, isn't it?
Mm.
It may be that the circumstances of existence and inexplicable vicissitude of living are all interwoven into a meaningful pattern of high value by the function of the Supreme and the overcontrol of the Trinity. As a son of God, you can discern the personal attitude of love in all acts of God the Father. But you will not always be able to understand how many of the universe acts of the Paradise Trinity
Redound? What's redound?
No.
You need to have a dictionary. Redound, it means contribute greatly to.
Okay.
That's a word. I thought it was a typo.
Redound to the good of the individual mortal on the evolutionary worlds of space. That's us. I like how it starts. It says, as a son of God, you, that's beautiful, huh? Can discern the personal attitude of love in all the acts of God the Father, but you will not always be able to understand how many of the universe acts of the Paradise Trinity are down to the good of the individual mortal on the evolutionary worlds of space.
Worlds.
Worlds of space. In the progress of eternity, the acts of the Trinity will be revealed as altogether meaningful and considerate, but they do not always so appear to the creatures of time.
Mm.
Mm.
Can I read?
Sure.
I mean, do you want to have a break for a moment?
You know,
Hmm?
what did you say, darling?
Did you want to have a moment before we start again?
We can have a moment. Anything. I mean, easy.
Eight. The Trinity beyond the finite. Many truths and facts pertaining to the Paradise Trinity can only be even partially comprehended by recognizing a function that transcends the finite.
Mm-hmm.
It would be inadvisable to discuss the functions of the Trinity of ultimacy, but it may be disclosed that God, the ultimate, is the Trinity manifestation. I don't know what's going on here. Okay. It's so good.
It's so good, isn't it?
There's something very funny.
Yes. Beautiful. Mm-hmm.
don't think I'm going to be able to read.
Mm.
You want me to continue? Or?
Well, it's a delicious moment. I love how it comes, like it dislodges your, like you can't comprehend, and somewhere part of you just gives up. And it's this giving up that opens up the space for the light to enter, and not even to enter, but to shine out. It is an experience, isn't it? And it's very hard to describe. Just suddenly something moves in you, right?
Just something's funny, and I have no idea what that is.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes.
Mm. Mm.
Mm.
I'm happy if you want to continue reading, Kim.
Oh, okay. I might just start that para again. It would be inadvisable to discuss the functions of the Trinity of ultimacy, but it may be disclosed that God the ultimate is the Trinity manifestation comprehended by the transcendentalists. What the hell are they?
Transcendental. Sounds cool.
Transcendentalists. Yeah, transcendentalists. That's it.
Oh my God.
We are inclined to the belief that the unification of the master universe is the eventuating act of the ultimate and is probably reflective of certain, but not all, phases of the absolute over-control of the Paradise Trinity. The ultimate is a qualified manifestation of the Trinity in relation to the absolute only in the sense that the Supreme thus partially represents the Trinity in relation to the finite.
Mm.
Blah, 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 blah.
Mm.
The universal Father, the eternal Son, and the infinite Spirit are, in a certain sense, the constituent personalities of total deity. Their union in the Paradise Trinity and the absolute function of the Trinity equivalate to the function of total deity. And such completion of deity transcends both the finite and the absolute.
Wow.
While no single person of the Paradise deities actually feels all deity potential, collectively all three do. Three infinite persons seem to be the minimum number of beings required to activate the pre-personal and existential potential of total deity. the deity absolute. We know the universal Father, the eternal Son, and the infinite Spirit as persons, but I do not personally know the deity absolute. I love and worship God the Father. I respect and honour the deity absolute. I once sojourned in a universe where a certain group of beings taught that the finalities in eternity were eventually to become the children of the deity absolute. But I am unwilling to accept this solution of the mystery which enshrouds the future of the finalities.
Well, he's unwilling to accept. That will pass, isn't it? Oh, that's so cute. Anyway, Carolyn just left a message. She says, "Thanks, guys. I'm out of here." Oh, that's so cute. I'm out of here.
Yeah. The core of the finality embrace, among others, those mortals of time and space who have attained perfection in all that pertains to the will of God. As creatures, and within the limits of creature capacity, they fully and truly know God. Having thus found God as the Father of all creatures, these finalities must sometime begin the quest for the superfinite Father. Gosh. But this quest involves a grasp of the absolute nature of the ultimate attributes and character of the Paradise Father. Eternity will disclose whether such an attainment is possible. But we are convinced, even if the finalities do grasp this ultimate of divinity, they will probably be unable to attain the super ultimate levels of absolute deity. It may be possible that the finalities will partially attain the deity absolute. But even if they should, still in the eternity of eternities, still in the eternity of eternities, the problem of the universal absolute will continue to intrigue, mystify, baffle, and challenge the ascending and progressing finalities. For we perceive that the unfathomability of the cosmic relationships of the universal absolute will tend to grow in proportions as the material universes and their spiritual administration continue to expand. Only infinity can disclose the Father infinite. Sponsored by a universal censor acting by authority from the ancients of days, resident on Universa.
Beautiful. Love it, guys.
It's making me feel grumpy today. I feel like I'm a fake. I feel like I'm a 5-year-old listening to something at university, not really understanding it, and trying to be a big boy, understanding all this
Well, it
Yeah,
sounds like
yeah,
that sounds right.
yeah.
That's
I feel
about
a bit
right.
grumpy
That's
too.
where we're all at, Anthony.
Don't
None
do
of
it,
us
that
are any
thing.
different from that.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And yet, I was
Mm.
I was just looking. I'm actually got inspired from this, and particularly from those moments when we do have these experiences that transcend the perception, whatever we translate this as. That
Yeah.
there is a shift in consciousness where I remember when I was in the academy, Rita said to Mrs. Cole, there is another part of your mind that doesn't know anything about what we are experiencing in here. And in that moment, there was a shift into this state of being that is just way beyond any possibility of describing. Right? So
Mm.
it's at hand. It's right there. We're just so preoccupied in this tiny little bubble when we just squeeze in like I know this and I know this and I know that. And then in 1 second, boom. And just like Allison, like that moment that comes and just cracks you up. And and you can just only rejoice and laugh and it's indescribable, right? Like you can't put your finger.
It's just something that's incredibly funny. I have no idea what that is. It's not like there's a concept in there or
Mhm.
an understanding of it. It's just, yeah,
In a in a righteous well, it says the laughter is the final stages of learning.
right.
Because
There's a part of me that wonders if it's when I'm taking it all too seriously with my mind, I'm just too,
Mm. Yeah, absolutely.
and then it's just like the hilarity of that becomes apparent.
but
Yeah.
I
but
do wonder.
also there is this desire
Mm,
for you to know, and I think that desire to know sort of helps the whatever it's helping us around us, what the angelic realms,
yeah,
the whatever the help is around, that they do offer us these profound experiences. And so I got inspired to look up few words that talks about religious experience, because quite a lot here about it. And same as a feeling, I'm going to look through this because I think that has beautiful answers. I was just reading one. Let's try this
There's-
one. Listen to this.
mm.
Even though the personality of Universal Father can be grasped only in the actual religious experience. Ta-da! Right?
Mm.
Yeah.
You can't figure it out by reading this book because
Yeah,
you can just reorder and know how to regurgitate all these little, what this means and what that means. And then comes this experience that just puts all our perception and blows it into smithereens, like
yeah,
in that place, doesn't matter what you know, because you are just so blown away by the vastness of what's available to us, way, way past the tiny little perceptions of this little zone that resides somewhere in here. That it
yeah.
becomes
there's a
so
yeah.
so
There's a book.
embodied, huh?
There's a book I've come across hundreds of times, but I've never actually got hold of it yet.
What is
And
it
it's
called?
called the Variety of Religious Experiences
Wow, that could be interesting.
by William James. Yeah, and I've always thought, oh, I want to read that book, but I just,
William James, I know that name.
yeah,
James.
But this is
he,
where even though the personality of the Universal Father can be grasped only by actual religious experience,
mm,
in
Mm.
Jesus's earth life, we are inspired. In Jesus's earth life, we are inspired by the perfection of demonstration of such a realization, a revelation of the personality of God in a truly human experience. So,
Yeah.
when those comes, Alison, they are gold, and you will still not understand them, but the knowing that comes from it.
Yeah. Even if it's just flicking me outside my normal
Yes.
thinking mind into, like, it's like it's fun. And I might have cleared out my lungs a little bit.
Anyway, I think I'm gonna collect all these. We can maybe read them one day.
Yeah,
Because I
that'd be
think it's
great.
in that. Can you see, like in that is the experience that beyond finite. You know, it's so mind blowing. And but what it does, it blows this tiny little noodle in here with all its little knowledge that it thinks it has. And yeah, isn't it? And and suddenly every cell is vibrating in a speed of light.
Yeah,
And the information that comes from that experience, not from this book, that
yeah,
comes from the experience of having it, of that's a revelation, isn't it? You are
I
revealed
know.
directly something that cannot, I mean, they say basically even here, like we don't, they say we don't know. They give you these amazing concepts and then go, then almost sounded like there was a bit of a grievance going on in there. But you know, almost
Yeah,
did
yeah.
you see that? It was like
Yeah,
almost
I
a
picked
little
that up.
disagreement, like
Intellectuals
I don't
having
know if
power.
that's so. Anyway, I love these.
Ah,
I'm gonna read them all. I made a whole list of those that mention feeling how you know there is a I love that line where it says there are in the next Morontia worlds there are schools of thought and schools of feeling and the amount of those schools is equal.
mm,
And I can see how the thought is so worshipped in here. But the feeling is just like this, oh, just something that bugs me kind of thing. Little, little, little,
Yeah,
little part of the self that we can discard. And yet, even Jesus in the Course says, go down below your churning of your mind with all your crazy earthly wisdom. Keep going down, down, down to the kingdom of heaven. Eh? He actually says it in the Course. Keep going down.
mm.
Yeah. And anyway,
Down, down, deeper and down. What's that? Who's
down.
status quo, isn't it?
Yeah,
Down.
it's
I don't
also
know.
an ad on TV
Oh,
or
is it?
something. Coles or
Oh,
something. Or something.
I'm going down to Electric Avenue. Hmm.
ah, these-
Mm.
so above all else, you want to have, just like Jesus says in the Course, seek only the experience and do not let theology delay you.
Yeah. I don't know, Cole. I don't even know how I lived before I learned how to get
Hmm.
in touch with my feel. I can't believe how much I repressed my feelings.
Yes. And there is,
Before we started doing that group, like I wasn't in touch with how I was feeling ever. I
yeah.
would sometimes rage would burst out of me, or
Hmm.
I'd get upset about stuff, but generally speaking, I couldn't go down inside and just check that
Mm.
out because I had no way of knowing how to.
And that just blinds you, those reactions. But when you actually begin to meet them with the loving acceptance,
Yeah.
you know,
mm.
and
William James was an American philosopher and psychologist born 1842.
wow, 1842.
42. There's
That's
something
the
about
guy who
that.
talks about the religious experience book.
He was influenced by John Dewey, B.F. Skinner, Carl Jung, and other people. Yeah.
So what other books has he written?
Um,
Hang on
oh,
a second. When was he born?
1842.
1842. How did when was Carl Jung around? Wasn't he around?
I think so.
He
This
died
century.
in he died in 1910. Yeah, that sounds not quite right, doesn't it?
No, 1840 to 1910. That's only 70 years.
Yeah, but he talks about he's been influenced by Carl Jung. Carl Jung wasn't yet. When was Carl
When
Jung?
was he? When
Um,
was Carl Jung?
I don't know. He was a,
This century. Oh, last century. Yeah.
here's a quote from William James. A great many people think they are thinking when they are merely rearranging their prejudices.
Oh, that's really funny.
That's
The,
hilarious.
the greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. Whenever two people meet, there are really six people present. Anyway,
Wow, actually, yeah. Oh, I didn't know. Carl Gustav Jung was
well,
born in 1875.
there you go.
Yeah, so he had 25 years of,
That's amazing.
mind you,
I saw like some
1875,
videos of him.
35,
35 years.
35 years. Yeah, 35 years.
Oh,
So he
he
must have
died
been
in
influenced
51.
towards the end of his life.
Mm.
I think, yeah, one of his sons is a writer as well, writes novels. Um,
But William James, were there any other books that he wrote?
um, I'd have to I'll go to the Wikipedia. He's described as the father of American psychology.
No.
Blah, blah. Books, I don't know. Let me have a look. Oh, got a lot of students. Main interests. Oh, he was into Swedenborg as well.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, he was the son of Henry James. I think he's the writer. Yeah. Um, Amongst his most influential books are The Principles of Psychology, a groundbreaking text in the field of psychology, Essays in Radical Empiricism, and The Varieties of Religious Experience, an investigation of different forms of religious experience, including theories on mind cure. Anyway, I did hear of him a lot when I was doing my art therapy studies. I mentioned him a lot.
Mm.
Mhm.
James' theory of the self. James's theory of the self divided a person's mental picture of self into two categories, the me and the I. Anyway, it goes and
Mhm.
on. Material self, social self, spiritual self, pure ego. Anyway, sounds interesting.
Here
But
is
yeah, that book keeps
a,
coming into my attention, so
mm,
we should get it.
When he says the me and the I, that's like the me and the Holy Spirit are the two voices, one for God and one for the ego, maybe.
or one for the translator of that wisdom.
Yeah.
In the
Philosophy of
physical universe, we may see the divine beauty in an actual intellectual world. We may discern eternal truth, but the goodness of God is found only in the spiritual world of personal religious experience. Bingo.
Well, here's a quote from the book, The Varieties of Religious Experience.
Give us one.
Oh my God, it's over the top. This doorway into the subject seems to me the best one for a science of religions, for it mediates between a number of different points of view. Oh, sorry. Yet it is only a doorway. Oh, so
Yeah.
it's a doorway. And difficulties present themselves as soon as we step through it. and ask how far our transmarginal consciousness carries us if we follow it on its remotest side. Here the overbeliefs begin. Here mysticism and the conversion rapture and Vedantism and transcendental idealism bring in their monistic interpretations and tell us that the finite self rejoins the absolute self, for it was always one with God and identical with the soul of the world. Here the prophets of all the different religions come with their visions, voices, raptures, and other openings, supposed by each to authenticate his own peculiar faith. Anyway, that's all it says.
Interesting.
Yeah. That was written in 1902.
Amazing.
I think that's the year my grandmother was born.
Well, here we go. Religious genius experience should be the primary topic in the study of religion,
Bingo.
rather than religious institutions.
Mm-hmm.
Since institutions are merely the social descendant of genius. The intense, even pathological varieties of experience, religious or otherwise, should be sought by psychologists because they represent the closest thing to a microscope of the mind. That is, they show us in drastically enlarged form the normal processes of things.
Wow.
In order to usefully interpret the realm of common shared experience and history, we must each make certain overbeliefs in things which, while they cannot be proven on the basis of experience, help us to live fuller and better lives. A variety of characteristics can be seen within a single individual. There are subconscious elements that compose the scattered fragments of a personality. This is the reflection of a greater dissociation, which is the separation between science and religion.
Mm-hmm.
Religious mysticism is only one half of the mysticism. The other half is composed of the insane, and both of these are co-located in the great subliminal or transmarginal region. So he investigated mystical experiences throughout his life, leading him to experiment with chloral hydrate, amyl nitrate, nitrous oxide, and peyote. Here you go.
Good on him. Wonder what he would have thought of the
This is
URANTIA book.
This is funny for some reason. James claimed that it was only when he was under the influence of nitrous oxide that he was able to understand Hegel. I think Hegel's another philosopher, isn't he? That's hilarious. He concluded that while the revelations of the mystic hold true, they hold true only for the mystic. For others, they are certainly ideas to be considered, but can hold no claim to truth without personal experience of such.
Mm.
But anyway. Oh, yeah, there's heaps of stuff. Anyway, yeah, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Oh, he's only 68 when he died. Oh, shit, that's my age.
Yeah.
Children, Margaret, Mary James, here, Henry James, William James. Oh, there's two William James. Okay.
Yeah, it's probably not an uncommon name in actual fact.
Anyway. Oh, yeah. He's got a few books, actually. Shit. That one. the principles of psychology, the will to believe, pragmatism. What is an emotion? Oh,
Wow.
1884. What is an emotion?
That would be
The
interesting.
meaning of truth and essays in radical empiricism. And there's more. God, he's written a lot. What makes a life significant? The moral equivalent of war. Oh my God, he's written so many. The one's called The Feeling of Effort.
The feeling of what?
Effort.
Effort. Oh.
Yeah. Be not afraid of life. The energies of men.
Ah,
Oh my God, there's so many. That's nuts. Okay.
There's some videos
Oh.
too, Kim, of the
Is life worth living?
Is life worth living? Yeah. We've all,
Cracking
all
me up.
asked, we've all asked that question at one point or another.
Yeah. The will to believe sounds interesting. A
Yeah.
pluralistic universe. Yeah.
What are you looking at, Cole?
no, that was me.
Kevin.
I was looking at it's got a video. I think the whole book's in the video. I'm just trying to.
Oh, really?
That's an audio.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at his religious experiences on in different sections of the book.
Oh, okay.
It's fascinating what it says.
Yeah. What is the
Because
time?
that reveals everything beyond what can be written down.
Right. Yeah.
Like it says, you can never really comprehend this. Even the religious experience, being essentially spiritual, can never be fully understood by the material mind. Hence the function of the theology and psychology of religion. The essential doctrine of the human realization of God creates a paradox in finite comprehension. This was all in chapter 5. It's like went over my head at that time. Our paper 5.
Right.
Mortal man secures 3 great satisfaction from religious experience, even in the days of his temporal sojourn on earth. First one is intellectually, he inquires the satisfactions of a more infinite human consciousness. 2, philosophically, he enjoys the substantiation of his ideas of moral values. And 3, spiritually, he thrives in the experience of divine companionship in the spiritual satisfaction of true worship. I mean, like just the Course says, it shifts you in the order of celestial, in a celestial order in which you are perfect. Ta-da. I'm so glad I've done this Course in Miracles.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Because that leads more to the experience than the accumulation of of perceptual musings.
I actually have to go now. Got to go somewhere. Yeah.
All right, darlings.
Thank you, everyone.
And leave it here. That was fun.
We're up. Yeah, because we're up to paper 11 now.
Yeah, amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Eternal Isle of Paradise.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. All right, Kim, have a beautiful day. See you
Thanks,
guys.
everyone.
I'm going to go too. See ya.
See ya.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.
Lovely, Shemina.